Hi everyone, this is Sam with Wine News in 5. Before I get to global news, some site news. Jancis has made number 2 on the list of the 100 most influential people in the UK market, compiled by the publication Drinks Retailing. Congratulations to everyone who made this list. In addition, we've expanded our team by bringing on Josh Green, previously the owner and editor-in-chief of the US wine publication Wine and Spirits. He'll be working on expanding our reach in the US from his base on the East Coast. In terms of global news, today we'll discuss strikes at Pernod Ricard and LVMH, a new report on why Gen Z isn't drinking as much, the lowering of tariffs between the US and China, Provence's first cru, and Mouton-Rothschild's price drop for 2024 Bordeaux en primeur. Starting with strikes at LVMH and Pernod Ricard. On May 1st, Reuters reported that LVMH had warned employees that it planned to shrink its wine and spirits workforce by around 10%, which is equivalent to about 1,200 employees. A representative for LVMH told the Financial Times that business had returned to 2019 levels and so staffing would as well. Just Drinks reports that on May 13th, employees from Veuve Clicquot, which is owned by LVMH, protested the cuts while other LVMH employees gathered at Moet and Chandon to discuss possible courses of action. Meanwhile, the same day, employees of Mumm and Perrier Jouet, which are owned by Pernod Ricard, gathered outside Mumm to protest both a failure to increase salaries during annual negotiations, as well as the potential sale of Mumm. While these two protests don't seem linked, both are caused by a downturn in wine sales, which is necessitating businesses to shrink operations, which is ultimately resulting in staff reductions. Speaking of a downturn in sales, there's a very interesting new report on why, in the US, Gen Z is drinking less than previous generations. Until now, one of the most popular theories for why Gen Z is drinking less has been that they're more health conscious. A new report published by Rabobank suggests that the true culprits are mobile devices, social media, and a change in demographics. The report details how the rise of cell phones has created a landscape where teenagers and 20-somethings have fewer in-person social interactions, which is when most drinking takes place. Cell phones have also made it easier for parents to track their underage children and have made it more likely that photos or videos of drinking may end up on social media, with negative outcomes for students' personal, academic, and/or athletic life. So most Gen Zers are having their first experience with alcohol later in life. Gen Z is also a much more diverse group than previous generations, and Black, Asian, and Latino consumers historically drink far less than white people. Additionally, women now outnumber men in the 25 and under bracket of alcohol consumers, and women, when they drink, tend to drink about half as much as men do. If you're at all involved in wine sales or interested in social sciences, I highly recommend you give this report a read. On to the lowering of tariffs between the US and China. On May 12th, the US and China agreed to lower tariffs imposed on one another for 90 days. The US will reduce the tariff on Chinese goods from 145% to 30%, and China will reduce the tariff on US goods from 125% to 10%. According to the Observatory of Economic Complexity, China was the third largest market for US wine in 2024 after Canada and the UK, and it was also the fastest growing market. In addition, US wine producers buy a large amount of China-made glass. Lowering tariffs on both sides is decent news for the wine industry, but tariffs still remain far higher than they were prior to when Trump took office. Next, Provence's first cru. The syndicate Côte de Provence currently recognizes 5 Dénominations Géographiques Complémentaires, or DGCs, which are in essence highly regarded subzones. These are Saint-Victoire, Lalonde, Fréjus, Pierrefeu, and Notre-Dame-des-Anges. According to an article published in Decanter on May 13th, the Saint-Victoire DCG has achieved cru status. This seems to be strictly a legislative change with no additional requirements to the subzone. Finally, a brief update on 2024 Bordeaux en primeur. Coverage of 2024 EP continues in our forum with announcements on Léoville-Barton, Gloria, Chevalier, Bechevel, and others. The most intriguing announcement was from Mouton-Rothschild, who dropped prices by 22.2% compared with 2023, and this puts their EP price well under current market value, which is the way that EP is supposed to work. That's all for this episode of the Wine News. If you enjoy this newscast and you'd like to see it continue, please subscribe to jancesrobinson.com. And if you have breaking news in your area, please email news@jancesrobinson.com. Thanks.